Welcome back to Banter Fodder. I'm your host, Drewby Drew, joined by Michael Hoover Dam and Jimmy Jam, Texas Ranger Man, also known as Jimmy the Giraffe. How are you fellas doing this evening?
Doing good. Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while for you, especially.
I'm no longer throwing up out my butt, as y'all so eloquently
Yeah,
put it last week.
Oh man, good times.
Of all the episodes, that one was the one. Nobody's going to be saying this crossed a line in an Evil Dead episode.
Oh man,
No, that was great.
it was. But yeah, we're back and we're getting into the full swing of things again with all three of us, which is super dope. And we're gonna be talking about Dumb and Dumber, the good old classic 90s comedy movie. Which this was my first time watching it ever for
so
this
excited.
podcast. So like it was just one of those blind spots that I had. I've seen a lot of like the classic comedy movies, but for some reason I just never got around to watching Dumb and Dumber. I remember not being allowed to watch it for a long time, so there is that. But yeah, it was just one of those movies that by the time I could watch it or whatever, I just didn't really care to. Um, but yeah, so before we jump into that though, I just gotta say a lot of stuff has happened in the past few weeks, and the writer's strike is finally over. So
Yeah, it is.
movies are gonna start getting produced pretty soon here. The actor strike is still going on, but I guess they've had ongoing discussions or negotiations this week. I think it was yesterday is when they started those back up. So I'm assuming the pressure from the writer's strike is really going to push them to finish or to get a deal with that. But yeah, no more freaking AI stuff in our movie making. So that's nice. At least for the writers. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there before we get a little dumb and dumber up in here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Or stupid and stupider.
Oh.
I bet you're from the planet Jupiter.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh man. Yeah, you got to open it like that because, we're getting silly goofy up in here for this episode.
Yes,
But yeah, so this was my first time watching this movie, boys, and both of you are freaking like mega fans of this movie. So it was a bit of an experience watching this for the first time. Which I actually watched it twice because the first time I watched it, I wasn't really feeling it, but I think that was just because I was really tired when I watched it. But the second time around when I watched it, I actually really enjoyed it. But I don't think I loved it on the same level as you guys did. And I think, and we'll talk about it more later, but I think a lot of that has to do with nostalgia. um and
Those are fighting words.
not saying that you're wearing like rose tinted glasses or anything like that.
No.
It's just like I didn't grow up with this movie. I didn't like watch this movie like growing up or anything like that. So I don't have like that same level of appreciation for it, but I still think it's pretty good. So that's just my quick thoughts on it.
Okay, he thinks it's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
Don't look at my letterbox rating.
Oh.
No, God. All right, hold on. Did you Byron this?
It's a 3.5.
That's acceptable, I
Yeah,
suppose. That's
okay with
fine. That's. I was gonna say if it's lower than 3, we got problems.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. No, I genuinely did enjoy it. It's just not. I guess like with comedy movies, not all of the jokes in
Yeah.
this movie were like my kind of humor, but there was a lot of it where I was like, that's really funny. And like, well, I mean, like for example, one of the scenes that really got me laughing was the freaking blind kid with the bird.
Billy, the blind kid from 4C. Yeah.
That scene got me good.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, like stuff like that. Like there are some genuinely hilarious moments in here. But I think the thing for me is I have like such a particular taste in humor and comedy films, especially. So I think that had a factor in it. But again, like that's not to say like I disliked the movie or anything. I had a great time watching it. So
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's
fair.
unfair to you because you definitely went in with a couple of like you said, kind of huge fans. Uh, I will say, for me, I think you hit in that there's a lot of, probably more than any other genre. It's I mean, some humor works for some people and some humor doesn't work for others. Like it's usually, I feel like whenever people try to say, "Oh, it's all subjective," it's just like, "Oh, that's the most boring cop out answer." But I really do think there's just so much subjectivity to humor. Um, but for
see,
me,
but actually, hold on, real quick. There is some just messed that up. There is some objectivity to humor when you're watching something like Thor: Love and Thunder. The screaming goats is not funny.
Yes, it
All
is.
right?
Yes, it is. The fact that I think it's funny proves it. We're
No,
not talking
you don't.
about.
You're lying to yourself.
Oh God, no.
when are
we're
we
not.
gonna do that?
Lying to
episode?
myself would be saying I hate that movie. Get off my back.
Well,
All right. We're not
I don't
talking
think.
about
I
Love and
think we've
Thunder.
mentioned this movie like in every episode. I feel
at
like.
this point, it's
I'm
just,
gonna have to full on defend it one episode.
Oh man, I don't think I can put
Don't make
myself
me do
through
that. It's not
rewatching
even.
it.
I don't even think it's great. Don't make me defend it, please. Don't make me spend an hour defending it,
Oh man.
please. Oh my gosh. But dude, no, that James, yeah, you go. You keep going with your
oh,
thing.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say though, like, I think I don't know how much nostalgia plays. Right, it definitely hit me at a particular moment in life though. Just to talk quickly, do like a brief summary of like my history with the movie. I had never seen it really growing up until I was like, I think I was 14. I was in high school. I was early in high school, and I woke up um, feeling much like Michael was a couple of weeks ago, in that not great at all. And
Mm.
so I stayed home sick, and we had this big drawer of like VHSs and DVDs that we'd like taken from like moves before. It was just full of movies, and I hadn't seen everything in there. Um, like we had this thing back when I was like 2 years old. And so I just went in and I was looking through all the old movies we had, and I saw that we had Dumb and Dumber on DVD. And I was like, I know my older siblings like this, so I'm feeling like crap. I'm just gonna lay on a bed all day anyways. Let me put this on. And it was like side-splittingly funny to me. Like I was laughing it was so my humor to a T. And it ended, and I probably tried like I probably tried to take a nap or whatever. Just kind of carried on the rest of my sick day, and then as the day, like as we get into evening, I was like, I'm gonna watch Dumb and Dumber again, and I watched it again that same day. And it would just kind of be off and on. I moved to college, and I found it's so funny. I found a group of friends who loved, just like super fan loved That Thing You Do as well, Michael. Uh, and then
My brother.
found out that also that same group of friends were super fans of Dumb and Dumber. And I thought, this I've arrived. I'm where I need to be.
Now this is pod racing.
Exactly.
Yes.
But it's just I don't know. And the thing is, like, I laugh out loud at it, but it's not even all just like the laugh out loud jokes that get me. It's like I it's like whenever you type in LOL and you're not really laughing, but like a lot of time I'll still think it's genuinely funny. I just may not express it. But like there are lines where I'm like, I'm not splitting my side, but as I sit and think on it, I'm just like, I mean, I still think that's hilarious. Like the whatever Lloyd's talking about getting fired, he's like, they always freak out when you leave the scene of a crime. Like that line, I love it. Or just the stupid stuff said in passing, like Oh, how's your day? Oh, pretty good. Fell off the
Fell off the
jetway
jetway
again.
again. Yeah.
Like, just the implications of that line are enough for it to be like one of the funniest lines ever to me. Like, this is just a common occurrence in his life. Somehow he just regularly finds himself falling off of jetway. Like, it's I don't it's so chock full of like those little lines. You know, your pet's head fell off. Yeah, he was real old. Like, it's just it's so I don't know, man. It is my humor like perfectly. I love it.
Oh man,
Yeah,
dude, the freaking bird. Like,
there's no scene like it, man. It's just so good.
yeah.
I'm similar. I watched it for the first time in high school, and again, I do have to go back to what James was saying. I totally agree. I think humor is easily the most subjective form of, like, whenever we're talking about movies and stuff, that there are, like, us three have a lot of the same tastes in a lot of stuff, but like if we could all watch different comedies at the same time together, and I think each of them would hit us very differently, just because humor is just very, very specific to a person. And if it doesn't work for you, that's the movie with comedies. Like,
Yeah.
that's the movie. Dumb and Dumber does not. I took out my computer and I was like, all right, time to take notes while I watch Dumb and Dumber. I typed out the title, Dumb and Dumber, and then I was like, what am I doing? Like, there's no notes to take here.
And I really appreciate it. Like, I like dramedies. Like, I
Yeah.
love
Oh,
comedies
yes.
with a point, you know?
Agreed. Yes,
But like,
totally.
I also I like for a comedy to have like it
The
has
main
no
point
message.
is to make you laugh.
Exactly. There's no prior agenda. It's just, is it funny?
Yep.
It lives or dies on that.
And if it is funny, it's a good movie. And if it's not funny, it's terrible, because that's the movie. Like,
Yeah.
there's no story to really, I mean, there's like the minutia of a story. But like, I grew up watching this as a teenager as well. I can't remember what age I was. I don't remember the first time I watched it, but I remember by the time I was in 10th grade, my friends and I would like get together like once a month basically and watch it, like, and quote it all the time with Napoleon Dynamite. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
there was that whole era where Napoleon Dynamite was being quoted, Dumb and Dumber was still being quoted, and like it was Emperor's New Groove with my friend group and That Thing You Do. So it's
Cusco
like,
poison. The poison for Cusco.
Cusco's poison. That poison. We should do that one, by the way. So I'm not going to pretend that there's no nostalgia for me with this, but I genuinely just, when I'm watching Jim Carrey go back and forth with Jeff Daniels,
This is a perfect pairing. I love
like,
their chemistry.
and you don't think about Jeff Daniels as that. Like, at least back then I did, because that's all I knew him as. And then I watched him in other things. I was like, oh, he's like real. Like, he's an actor, like real actor. And it turns out Jim Carrey is really good too. But Jeff Daniels has done some stuff that's like next level. Like, he is a super good actor. Yeah. And I could not believe, after I've watched, like, I mean, I love the show he did on HBO, The Newsroom. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but his performance in that show is really, really great. That's not like a West Wing level Aaron Sorkin show, but I really like it. But his performance in it is so good. And then I think back and I'm like, I cannot believe this is the guy from Dumb and Dumber.
I grew up just knowing him as the guy who shows his butt crack when he's sitting on the side of the road. That's Jeff Daniels.
Right. The guy that pooped really bad.
No.
The guy that I related to last week. Sorry, too much. But I just, when you watch these two go back and forth with each other in the car, making the most annoying sound in the world, singing.
You can't triple step a double step. You can't triple step a double step. Boy.
No. Or like when you're watching them, literally, like, they improvise that sword fight with their canes, with their suit, with their tuxes on. Like, and when he comes up and hits him behind, it's just, none of that was in the script. They just did it. Like, what? That is phenomenal. So to me, it's just these like two kings just a master at their craft, and I mean, delivering a really freaking stupid movie, but at the same time, it's like the best stupid movie.
I
And
think it's deceptively clever in its humor.
it's clever, but I mean, but it's about, that's the thing. It's clever, but it's about the dumbest people alive.
Do you
And
realize what you've done?
my friend's a little slow.
The town is
It's going to be
that
hard
way.
to not just quote the movie
I
for this
know.
whole podcast. But no, dude, honestly, Drew, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I'm trying to put myself in your shoes watching a movie that came out. When did this come out? 89, 90,
94,
91?
93.
Okay.
Before I was even born.
It's very 90s, or when it's very specific to whatever period it came out. And that kind of comedy is just not what comedies are. Well, we really don't have comedies nowadays. But
Seriously.
yeah, and so I get it. It's just totally different, and there's not a lot of substance. And I think when you think about like some of the, like, for me, one that I want to cover on this podcast sometime is Crazy Stupid Love. That movie is hysterical, but it's also like really cynical and really deep. There's a lot of messages in there. Like, there's a point to this movie, but it's also hilarious, but it is kind of cynical and sad. Like, and so it's just like this weird kind of feel. But this movie is the opposite of that. This movie is literally like, I'm laughing from beginning to end, and that's why it's great for me.
And it's got to me, it's got really good vibes in that, like, I love road trip movies.
Yes.
And so just setting the bulk of it, just a couple of best friends on the road, I'm like, this is already starting off like it's kind of a jolly feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So let me Drew, if you don't mind, I'm improvising here a little bit in the name of Dumb and Dumber. I want to know I just want to see, like, if you could think of a few scenes in the movie that were your favorite scenes. I know that it didn't quite all work for you as much as it would work for us, but what were some scenes that stuck out for you, whether they were just funny or with just something they were doing? Which ones stuck out to you the most?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, I already mentioned one of them, but
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
mention it again. The freaking the
Yeah,
blind
brilliant.
kid with the bird, like
What kind of
that.
sick people are they?
I just, like, I wasn't expecting it, and it was like so ironic, like, like jokes like that. I'm like, that's my kind of humor. Just like this absolutely insane, ironic, like, crap like that. I think that's why, like, I love The Nice Guys so much, is because like a lot of the humor in there is like that. It's just very ironic and like catches you off guard. And I like when like jokes do that to me. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like fart jokes and like stuff like that, which this movie has some of it, but like honestly
Yeah.
it doesn't have nearly as much as I was expecting, which I appreciated.
No,
Puts
they
it
did it
all
all
in
in
one.
one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like I like even that, like I actually like thought it was funny because by the end she's like, oh yeah, that toilet doesn't flush, or like
Oh,
whatever
dude.
is
It's not just oh, that guy's pooping. It's funny. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible situation.
Yeah.
We just went a level deeper here.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like they
He
were
finds
they
himself
were
in so
okay.
many
It goes
situations.
back to what James was saying like earlier. That's really stupid, but they're also clever with it. So that's something that I can like appreciate about the movie. And then there was another, gosh. Oh, dude, the freaking when they're driving and they're like talking about the piss bottles and everything, and then the cop pulls them over.
You'd keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, you pumpkin pie haircut freak.
That scene was so nasty, but like it got me good. Like,
Gosh, every scene also contains a quote. So you can't stop once you start. It stings.
Pull over.
No, it's a cardigan. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, and like that part too, like that whole scene is great.
Oh.
Yeah, like, so those are some of my favorite moments. There's a few more that I'm like, oh, Oh, dude, I was dying whenever like well, actually, like real quick before I get to that scene, I wasn't expecting there to be like this like plot behind the scenes about like these people trying to kill them or whatever.
I feel like it was a big
Um
'90s thing.
Oh
yeah,
Just randomly
no, for sure.
convoluted sub like plots behind
Yeah,
simple
like
stuff.
it just like I wasn't expecting it, but it like brought like one of the funniest scenes to me, which was when the guy was trying to poison them. Like he was gonna poison them, and then they he starts having an allergic, or was it an allergic reaction, or was it no,
It
it was
was
an
a
ulcer
stomach
or
Ulcer.
ulcer.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
My
Um
ulcer.
yeah, yeah. And so
Big
they
health.
freaking that he's like, I need my pills, and then he gives them the freaking, or they give him the freaking poison, and he just dies. I was like, what?
Pills are good.
Pills
Pills
are
are good.
good.
Which also
Yeah,
leads
and
to
the
another
fact
line I
that they
forget.
gave him like 50 pills too, I'm like,
Well, that's what he would do. He would open the bottle and go, "Whoa."
Yeah.
So gross.
It also ends up with that sequence ends with another line I freaking love, which is, he blamed me. You heard him. Those were his last words. Not if you count the gurgling sound.
um,
It's so good.
oh, and then
Oh.
another scene that also I thought was like actually like really brilliant was when they were at the diner and those guys were like being pricks or whatever, and so they were like,
Seabass.
yeah, they said that they got the checks for us, and like it was like such a like subtle like thing, like it
Yeah.
wasn't like a big like punchline kind of joke, but like that was just so freaking funny. And then like their reactions whenever they get on the road, like it's so stupid, but I'm
And that
like, they
scene
got what
leads
they deserve.
right into the pee scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's back to back bangers right
I
there.
love when Seabass, when they look over at Seabass, he's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
yep," like almost
Yeah,
confirming, but
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's
it's brilliant.
oh, it's so
And
good.
another sequence where like a funny like scene and situation is topped off with just a great line, which is, so you saw in the movie a couple of guys con this sucker and picking up their tag and they get away scot free. No, in the movie they catch up with him half a mile down the road and slit his throat. It was a good one.
So
Oh,
good.
man.
So yeah, and so the all of those lines are, or all of those scenes are fantastic. For me though, I think an underrated scene that people don't talk about quite enough is when they're camping in the Rockies. And he says, "My hands, Lloyd, my hands are freezing." And Lloyd just takes off his extra pair of gloves and says, "Here, have these extra gloves." You've had an extra pair of gloves this whole time. Yeah, we're in the Rockies. I
Just the
I don't know
delivery of
what
that.
that scene gets me so bad. Like, like just picturing like if I was in that situation and my friend had two pairs of gloves on when I'm freezing.
We're in the Rockies.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's
This
so good.
And there's another line that my brother and I quote all the like just endlessly from that. Anytime it gets cold and you can feel your hands freeze, just whenever he's choking him, and as he's got his hands around his neck, it's just like, Harry, your hands are freezing.
Oh,
That's
man.
just, yeah. This line is just, or this movie is just filled with stuff like Harry, you're alive, and you're a horrible shot. Like little things like that. It's like they're not the funniest lines in the world, but like it's almost like every line is at least chuckle worthy for
Yeah,
me.
there's
It's
there's
at
such a
least,
high to personally there's such a high floor on the jokes where like
yeah,
maybe it's not, like you said, the funniest thing ever, but it's like that's I mean I like it.
yeah,
And like I do think like I said earlier, I do think sometimes it takes somebody with like somewhat of like an actually clever sense of humor to come up with some of this stuff, like to
yeah,
put lines as both to be as dumb but also like work as well as like a like kind of to work as a punchline to a thing.
yeah.
Like I just The whole like
you have to have a high IQ to understand Rick and Morty and Dumb and Dumber.
exactly.
Listen, Dumb and Dumber is just sophisticated.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, you're not sophisticated enough.
But stuff like I'm talking about a place called Aspen. I don't know, Lloyd. The French are assholes. Or I expect...
California, beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I expected the Rocky Mountains to be a little rockier than this. That
John Denver's full of shit, man.
That line,
Yeah.
like it's I love it.
Yeah, and I do think that it does have that thing from the 90s or whenever, like this era, whatever. It's a very specific thing from this era where it was like there were a bunch of movies coming out around this time. Like, okay, a weird example. Have y'all seen Man of the House with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Chevy Chase?
I've seen
Y'all
the
remember that
trailer in
movie?
front of my VHS of a different film all the time. But
There
that's
you
it.
go. There you go. And in that movie, it's a sweet movie about a mother or a mom and her son, and I think his dad left. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. And then this new guy, Chevy Chase, comes into the picture. That's all the movie needs. All the movie needs is that triangle right there and the things that go along with it. It's pretty sweet. It's a sweet little movie. And for some reason, someone at the studio was like, we need mobsters in here to be chasing after Chevy Chase. But trust me, this is going to make the movie better. Like, that's a thing in this like era. And I don't know why, but it works for me in this movie. But in Man of the House, I was like, why is this here? This is so stupid. And I guess you could say the same thing about Dumb and Dumber, but at least, I don't know. At least there's a reason why it's connected to the suitcase, which is the whole reason why they're going across country and stuff like that.
Swammy.
Yeah.
Samsonite.
What's so frustrating is he says Swanson.
Yeah.
He's like,
Swanson? Oh, check
Swanson?
the case.
Check the case.
Samsonite.
You had it. But yeah, I think that's for me. If I'm picking out, like, and I'm nitpicking here because I just freaking love this movie and I'm almost incapable of objectively looking at it. It's this is probably, like, I guess, a trope that it really used. But to me, it works better in this movie.
To me, it's there's just a quaint 90s charm to it. Because we were talking about Tommy Boy before, and even Tommy Boy has like the kind of corporate family plot stuff running in the background.
Yeah, the corporate family plot, but they're not trying to be killed.
Right, yeah. But it always feels like there's some, it's never just like the idea is the movie. It's like there's the idea, and then behind the scenes there's shady backdoor. That's
Rob Lowe is a total douche.
Yeah.
but Tommy Boy, again, another road trip. Another road trip movie. There's just something about road trip movies, man.
I love road trip movies.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah,
I love me some cars. Life is a highway.
Wait, when are we covering that? That's the real
Seriously.
question.
Ka-chow.
Ciao.
Hey, listen, I didn't used to love that movie. I watched it with my son just recently, like within the past year, and I was like, this movie's pretty good. I really like it. Like, it's, as far as Pixar movies go, I think it's not quite like the standard, but Cars 2 is not good. Cars 2 is bad, but Cars is really good. Like,
I like the first one. Yeah,
I like it a lot. It's very good.
I still haven't seen the third one.
It's good.
I haven't seen 2 or 3.
They went back to Mater not being the main character, so it's good.
They took the Cars franchise back to its roots.
Yep, they did.
They should have doubled down on Mater, honestly.
Yes, sir.
Well, daggone. He did what in his cup? He did what in his cup?
Hey, that's a funny line.
That is good.
Oh, man.
But yeah. So this movie is really funny to talk about because like with every movie we've talked about so far, there's like a story that's happening.
There's a
Like
real story in this, all right? It's a journey of
Yes.
friendship.
friendship and love, true
Exactly.
love.
And
So you're telling me there's a
revenge.
chance.
Oh yeah. Okay, actually, like speaking about that, I wanted to say that earlier. It was cool, like finally, like understanding all of those like gifs and memes and like
The
references.
throw up gif of Jim Carrey.
That, and then you're saying there's a chance, and like there's literally like probably hundreds of gifs and like memes
Yep.
online that like originated from this movie. So like it it like really like has made its mark into like pop culture and
Yeah.
and especially meme culture too.
Yeah.
And you know, if you enjoy memes, then you're a person of culture. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah.
Um,
We landed on the moon. Just the excitement he has when he sees that old newspaper. I love it.
I forgot about that scene. That was so good.
No way.
There's a lot of good stuff when they get to Aspen as well, man. The
Yeah.
whole country club kind of like ski resort place.
They're like when they're like buying when they're like they get out of this like space car and there's boxes falling out of it. Those are IOU, sir.
Also, I thought it was
I'll hold on
like
to that one.
Might want to hold on to that one.
with the Aspen scenes. Whenever like Jim Carrey's at the bar, I thought it was really funny how they brought back that that woman that Jeff Daniels' character ran into at the gas station.
Oh yeah.
Just
They
give me
like they
that
just
number.
randomly like brought her back, and it, like I don't know. I just thought it was like really like clever and funny, and wasn't expecting it at all. Like
See, they're
Turns
weaving
out
a
it
plot
wasn't
in there.
random.
yeah, exactly.
Also,
What if they shot you in the head?
Yeah,
What if they shot me in the head?
man, and I really don't want to make all of my additions just be and another line that I love, but
It's gonna be difficult. Let's just be honest.
but during that sequence there's another line, and again, it's not just that like it cracks me up, but it's just in my common like lexicon of just weekly uses, which is wait, why would she want to meet me at a bar at 10 in the morning? I just assumed she was a raging alcoholic. Oh, I love that.
10 in the morning.
Hey, Harry, old buddy, old pal, old friend.
Yeah. Again, it's just like the two of them together. And like what's so funny is like it starts off as a buddy movie, and then I didn't expect the jealousy plot. Like the whole plot point where Harry literally like kind of betrays Lloyd, and then there's this whole new story to the movie. I didn't expect that the first time I watched it, and even this time I watched it, I think this is the first time I noticed it. I think I've obviously I've seen the movie like 100 times, but this was the first time I was like, I feel like a new movie has officially started when Harry actually meets Mary, and they end up like going and skiing and stuff, and like she touched my leg, and all right, kill him. And,
I love that.
it was just like you didn't expect that because they're just like best friends, and yeah, they fight, but at the end of the day, like it turns out that Harry betrays Lloyd here, but Lloyd betrayed Harry years ago with Freda Felcher. And
You remember Freda Felcher? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. Wrote me some John Deere letter about not listening. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention.
But yeah, that was just something I realized this for the first time. I was like, oh, this is like kind of a new story to introduce here, and it kind of makes the movie, it gives it another dimension, and maybe it kind of needed another dimension. But I don't know. I just love it. It really is one of those. It's one of the few movies for me where it's almost like every line of the movie is quotable for me. Like almost every line is just, there's an element of some form of humor in every line. and and there's not a whole lot of movies like that for me. There's not. I mean, there's a few, but I think this is why, to me, Dumb and Dumber knows its objective and it passes with flying colors. It is the best comedy of all time because it's just funny for every second it's on screen. So,
And it's given
and
me a great joke to tell, which is the bulldog and Shih Tzu joke, which is just a funny joke.
Yes.
Nice set of Hooters you got.
oh,
The owls.
oh my gosh, the owls.
Boy, this party really died.
Yeah, so something that I thought was funny this time that I never really thought was funny before was when Harry, Mary, and Lloyd are like tied up on the bed, and the villain of the movie is in there with a gun pointed at him, and he's like, it was like right before the part where he's like, "Well, good thing you're about to be reunited," all that. Um, Before that, when they're just talking back and forth on the bed, I love when it cuts back and when it cuts back to him on the phone ordering plane tickets over the phone in that moment. And there's just something like, why would he be ordering plane tickets right now, holding a gun to their head? And then he's like, wait, can I get a vegetarian meal? Like, I was like, what a weird villain this is. I don't know. I just thought that was
the
kind of
ultimate
funny
90s
this time.
villain.
Yeah. But yeah, Drew, what do you like, any other standout moments from this one, or any scene that we're dying laughing and you're just like, it's not that funny, guys? That's what I want to know.
I'm trying to think because there's a lot of scenes that I like seriously like thought were hilarious.
Yeah.
There wasn't like too many scenes that like I didn't really like. But I mean there's like an obvious one, and it's just like, I mean, it's like I wasn't really gonna mention it because I mean it's a 90s film, so like it's to be expected. But there's a scene in here that is a little bit probably like considered as racist. So there's that, it's got like that. It's a 90s like comedy movie, and I mean, let's be honest, like comedy movies were offensive for like even longer than the 90s. So I like that was like something that I was expecting, but
Which scene
like
is it? I'm trying to remember.
it's when he's having the dream sequence or whatever.
Oh,
And it's like incredibly stereotypical. Oh.
To
So
be
yeah.
fair to it, I feel like that's exactly how Lloyd Christmas would imagine that going.
Yeah.
Probably, honestly.
He rips out his heart.
Dude, that part always terrified me as a kid. Well, no, I say always terrified. I watched it as a teen, but even as a teen, I remember laughing my butt off, and then that happens, and it's the thing that got me. And maybe it's because I was sick at the time, but the thing that got me was when he put it in the bag and he folded up the bag and there was blood all over it as he handed it back. I'm like,
oh man.
I love when he sorry, and we're talking about this scene that you just talked about as this racist scene, but one of the funny non-race based parts is when he like Lloyd getting his butt kicked literally, and he like falls down, and then he's like, oh.
Yeah, dude.
Racist.
That part was great. Yeah, no, there's definitely there's definitely some funny moments in that scene for sure.
But yeah, I got you though.
But yeah, like I wasn't like originally gonna mention it just because like I feel like it's one of those things where you don't really have to talk about that. Like it's like everyone knows it, and like so I feel like we don't really have to critique that aspect of the movie or anything like that, or movies like it, because it's not releasing now, it's already put its mark in history, and like yeah, sure, there are people who can critique it, but that's not what our podcast is for in particular. But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, honestly, for the most part, like, I thought it was like like a really funny movie. There weren't like too many scenes where like I like didn't laugh at all, or like didn't like chuckle, or like do the nose laugh, the like nose breath
Exhale.
laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, like I guess for me, um if I'm gonna watch a comedy movie, and like I absolutely will rewatch this movie, by the way, but my kind of comedy is like stuff like Hot Rod, The Nice Guys, and then I love like stoner comedy movies. I don't know why, but that's just the type of comedy
Dude,
movies that I gravitate
dude.
towards.
Hot Rod is just a more modern Dumb and Dumber. Come on.
Hot Rod is more iconic, all right.
Ah!
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Okay.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Hold on a second.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Talking about iconic?
First of
no.
all, I adore both of these movies. All right.
Whiskey.
You propose what?
I said no. First of all, I adore both of these films.
I do too.
Yeah.
But babe.
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 No. I'm just
True.
I'm
Sorry.
just rustling your jimmies, if you know what I mean.
I do not know what you mean.
I bet Jimmy knows what I mean.
Oh yeah.
But no, yeah, like I think also another thing about this movie, I honestly kind of went in with low expectations, because like I was expecting it to just be like, I don't know why, like I had this mental picture in my mind of it just being like a standard 90s comedy movie. And I mean, like, we talked about it, it has a lot of the tropes of like 90s comedies, but but the thing that separates it, I think, is that there's genuinely like clever and funny jokes in this movie. And it also uses the tropes effectively. Like like I feel like the film
agreed.
really knows what it's doing. It's not just there to be there. Like and like some, like we mentioned before, some of the funniest jokes are like come through those tropes, like the guy getting poisoned, like, and stuff like that. So it
Gas,
just
then. How they
it
know I
works,
got
you know?
gas. I love that they see people with guns and their first instinct is, did you remember to pay the gas bill?
Yeah, and again, like, I like the girl too. The girl and the girl and the guy, they're both very funny. They're perfect for their roles in this movie. But I love the girl. She's like, just let me kill them. Let me kill them both. It'll be quick or whatever. And she's like, you don't kill people you don't know. That's the rule. Like, this guy has principles here.
It's so dumb.
Talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
At the wrong
You know,
time.
I just appreciate that they gave this guy like complexities. You know, this is a
Exactly.
this is not just your average villain,
multi-layered
man.
character.
He's got principles as a murderer.
Exactly.
It's
so dumb.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love the scene at the end when I'm just thinking about that crew, and then when the husband finally shows up at the end and we get an image from Lloyd's head of him just like murdering him.
Die!
Oh my gosh. That's it. And Drew, I agree with you. I'm like, there's things about it that are obviously there's the 90s tropes or whatever. That's a thing, but it separates it with clever writing, and it's like jokes that are layered. Like there's and it's like you think the joke is over here, but it either comes back later or it just keeps going and getting funnier or more awkward. And so there's a bunch of instances like that in this movie. And then between that, it's just good comedy writing, you know. And Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey are just like masters at making this script come to life, because a lot of the things that this is good comedy writing, but I guarantee you this script came to life because of those two. Like a lot of the stuff that we see is not on the page. The stuff that we see is Jim Carrey doing only things that Jim Carrey can do. Like there's no person that can do the things Jim Carrey does.
I guess it's true. The elderly, while slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
Now don't you go dying on me.
I got robbed by a sweet old lady in a motorized wheel car.
Oh, he throws himself on the floor there.
Oh, dude. Also, like, just random thought. The freaking scene where they're both sleeping while on the wheel. So stupid.
Wait, what? Hold on. What? Sleeping while on the wheel?
Yeah. They're driving and why did I just blank on his name?
Jim Carrey. Lloyd. He has his dream sequence. Is that what you're talking about?
The dream sequence is the scene that we just talked about, but
no, I'm talking about like there's a scene where I can't remember when it was exactly, but they're driving, right? They're on the road and Jeff Daniels his character is asleep, like in the passenger seat. But Jim Carrey is driving and he's sleeping too. And like he wakes up and then there's like a huge like truck that's like coming.
Yeah, that's part of the dream sequence.
That was
part of the dream.
Yeah.
For some reason, I
because of the headlight.
The headlights are her. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that sequence. But yeah, that's where,
I love the way he wakes Harry up. When he throws the stuff at him. He's clearly trying to wake him up, and he's like, oh, "Hey, I wondered when you'd wake up."
It's so funny. But yeah, that's the part where they get lost. That's where they realize they drove 6 hours in the wrong direction.
A tad, Lloyd.
A tad.
Also, whenever he comes back on the bike, and like they play it off like Jeff Daniels is gonna get really pissed, and then he's like,
"Totally redeem yourself."
Yeah, I feel like if this movie has like the two most iconic lines, it's got to be "We've got no food, no what is it?
No jobs,
no food. Our pets' heads are falling off."
Yep.
And then just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you go and pull a stunt like this.
And totally redeem yourself. I think as far as if you're talking iconic lines that are quoted like by the most people, you got to put Samsonite in there. How many times, literally, how many times do people force that into a conversation? Like, oh man, I was wrong.
I was
Samsonite. I was way off. Like it doesn't even make sense really, but we force it in there all the time in the conversations.
Yeah. Oh, I do that all the time.
I do too. Literally all the time. I got
that wrong. I was way off. Speaking of small moments, I posted this on the page, on the group page. Small moments that just get rocketed into like iconic cultural status. It's my favorite just random moment in passing. It's whenever they stop at the gas station. Lloyd walks out just with like like beef jerky and stuff, and he sees the two guys standing out there with their drinks, and he's like, "Big gulps, huh? Nice. Well, see you later." He just walks away. Like that's the joke. That's everything. It's just big gulps, huh? Nice. See you later. And it's so iconic because this last Sunday, I was watching the Cowboys play, and there's two professional sportscasters standing there, and it cuts to them on air, and they're standing in silence, and they don't know they're on. They realize it, and one of them goes, "Big gulps, huh? All right." And then they continue, and I'm like, I love this.
Well done.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
It was an incredible tip of the hat moment to that guy. But it was.
Was it Troy Aikman?
No.
Okay.
I don't know all the sportscasters. I know it wasn't him though.
The sportscasters.
I don't know all the sports. I'm not really into the sports.
Sportscasters.
Not really into the sports.
Yeah.
That's great though. That's great.
I got worms.
Yes, that's a great one too. That's what we're gonna call it. I got worms. Driving under a gas truck. That's the worst.
Oh, dude, a scene that also made me laugh. Whenever his freaking He accidentally lights his foot on fire. Like, it's so stupid.
For God's sakes, give me the damn number.
His face.
It's
There's
like
another
crossing
there's
his
another-
eyes.
Oh man.
It's so
And then
good.
the friend. Oh, and then the freaking whenever he's filling up the dog car and the leg is lifted up and then the gas is like flowing out. It's so
great.
stupid.
It's the shaggin' wagon.
Oh man.
I spent my life savings turning my van into a dog.
They hit you with so many great lines from the very beginning. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. We have scoured this city and there is no jobs, nothing, zilch. Yeah. Unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah. So good.
One last line. I can't
Yeah,
go
go for
without
it.
saying it. And it's another one where I'm like, 90% of people probably aren't gonna find it funny, but for some reason, like it just is hilarious to me. Which is when everybody's like, "What's in the briefcase?" I'm like, man, I would have to be some kind of lowlife to go snooping around somebody else's luggage. Is it locked? Yeah, really tight.
I love it. I mean, at this point, we can end the podcast whenever y'all want. But at this point, like we're just talking about our favorite stuff, our favorite lines. But one other part I love is when Harry and Mary are skiing and they're like snowball fighting, and Harry just freaking nails her.
Yeah.
The sound design for that scene is so good because the snowball sounds like it was a freaking boulder that he hit her in the face with. It's so funny because she just like innocently hits him with a snowball. He's like,
he just straight up kills her.
Buries her face in the snow.
oh my gosh, dude. It's so good. Harry just taking it to the next level. And he just rides for maybe hours with his tongue stuck
Yeah.
Hey,
to the point.
you wouldn't happen to have a glass of warm water, would you?
The kid's like, oh
Oh
my
man.
gosh. But yeah, this movie is a classic, y'all. I absolutely love it. I will love it forever. I get it not being your favorite, Drew. I do. I
Yeah.
understand. I do. But it's hard to imagine a movie topping it for me at this point as far as like comedies go. I mean, the right comedy has to come along at some point to do it, but and I'm not saying it's impossible, but Dumb and Dumber has literally been my favorite since I saw it. Like honestly. So it's just one of those movies I'm gonna be able to quote forever. I'm gonna be able to watch and laugh forever, and I'm gonna show my son when he's older. and it's just I really love it. 5 stars, baby. 5 stars.
I'm usually like the kind of person who's like, all right, I can understand like a personal favorite ranking high, blah blah blah. It's like, but let's kind of withhold like 5-star stuff. Like I saw somebody give Home Alone 5 stars recently. I'm like, listen, Home Alone's
It's a good
fun.
ranking. It's a good rating.
Well, all right, but see, here's the thing. I can't truly get upset at that because I guess everybody has something like that. Because
Dude, I put A Knight's Tale at 5 stars.
see, for me,
I'm
like
not ashamed.
there are all of these movies where I'm like, oh man, it's so like I'll even say like, man, it's so important to my childhood. I just watched it all the time, blah blah blah. And then it's like 3.5 stars, 4 stars. And I'm like, cool, because I can understand. Like I can remove myself from that and be like, oh, well, it's got this and that. I tried dropping Dumb and Dumber from 5 stars, and I think part of my soul started to die, and I stopped. I'm like, no. See, for me, this is my 5-star comedy,
dude. If
Hot Rod's mine, of course.
Dude, I freaking love Hot Rod too.
If it's for me, if it's something that you just like, I don't know if y'all notice anytime I just keep bringing this up because it's just like I don't know many people besides me that have this as 5 stars, but when we start talking about A Knight's Tale, like I could talk about that movie for hours because I think everything about it is perfect in what it's trying to do, what it's trying to be. It accomplishes it perfectly, and it is so important to me as a kid, as a teenager. Like, it was formative for me as a like for my senses of humor, for my sense of humor, but also like it is so heartfelt. It like nails everything it's trying to do. And like, so for me, if there's a movie that just checks those certain boxes that's just so important to you and you can't really explain it, like even if you try, it's like, yeah, but it's still a Knight's Tale. You're gonna give it 5 stars. Like, but yes, it's because it's so important to me. Dumb and Dumber is the same way with comedies. It's just everything will forever be compared to Dumb and Dumber, and it for that reason, it's 5 stars. Like it just is. And so, yeah, I think 5 stars is definitely one of those things. 5 star ratings are definitely one of those things where you try to be, you try to do it rare, as you know, you try not to give everything 5 stars, but sometimes it's just like, it's, if not this, then what?
Yeah.
You know.
And I think because, like you said, in a comedy that has no other kind of moral or message or agenda or idea or anything, it is simply trying to be funny. And because I do personally find like every joke in this funny, I'm like, I don't know what else to do.
Yep, I agree. I completely agree. So
You're saying this movie isn't deep?
No, I would never say that. It's as deep as that that Harry threw the briefcase. I'm gonna do what I should have done a long time ago.
Oh man.
So you can take your 3 stars or 3.5 stars and shove it,
I do know. But yeah, 3.5 stars from me. But again, 3.5 stars for me is not bad.
No.
That,
3.5
That's a
is
solid
a good
rating, dude.
anyways.
Yeah, and
Whenever
especially
you
for
were
comedy
telling me to
movies.
like worry about it, I was like, oh, what am I about to hear? And you said 3.5. I'm like, oh no, I can live with
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. I thought you were about to say 2.5.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, oh gosh.
No, I had too much of a good time for that. But there's a lot of comedy movies. I feel like a lot of comedies, like my ratings generally are around 3.5.
Yeah,
but that's just because
yeah.
like comedies, like the comedies that do hit me, obviously, like that hit me like really hard are the ones that are gonna have higher ratings. But also like there's only so much that you can do with comedies,
like Grown Ups too. Like Grown Ups too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's elevated comedy right there. Like it's like elevated horror,
Listener, whoever you are, if you want a new like least favorite film of all time, go watch Grown Ups 2. It's the worst movie. It's awful. It's unbelievably awful.
Oh man. But
honestly, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. No. Oh no. I was just about to go on an Adam Sandler rant. I don't. How did he get like popular?
All right, listen here, but
listen, I love a couple of his movies. Like, for some reason, Mr. Deeds really works for me.
I think even if they're a bit overrated now,
yeah,
I think his 90s fare there's a reason they got popular.
Happy Gilmore was good.
But here's the thing. This is why I do think it's more than just when Dumb and Dumber hit me, because I watched Tommy Boy and Happy Gilmore and Dumb and Dumber all relatively around the same time. I really like Tommy Boy. I like Happy Gilmore pretty well. But I adore Dumb and Dumber, and those are all the same time. So I think I found the one thing, like the one of all of them. I'm like, okay, this is the one that like
this is the one I will stand behind.
Yeah. Now this is pod racing.
Yes, it's working. It's working.
It's working.
It's Wizard.
I'm a huge fan of the Adam Sandman, and
you are or you're not?
I am.
Oh right? Wow.
Like, so I mean, like I enjoy like a lot of the classic movies that like the classic comedy movies that he's in. But I mean, you can't go without mentioning Jimmy Jam's favorite director, PTA, with Punch Drunk Love, and then also Uncut Gems, dude. Oh, so and then the Meyerowitz, or however you
Meyerowitz story,
Meyerowitz,
I think.
however you pronounce it, the Noah Baumbach film with Adam Sandman. Really good stuff. It, Adam Sandler's like really funny in the right roles and in the right movies. And like all of those ones that I just listed are like great reasons
He is
why.
incredible both in his drama and his comedy in Punch Drunk Love. That movie is a masterpiece.
I need
Yeah.
to see Punch Drunk Love and also Uncut Gems. I've never seen either of them, but I do know he's genuinely. I know he's a good actor, and he's always the best part of his movies.
That's true.
I just think like he's got kind of a formula, and he always uses the same people
Yeah.
with them, and none of them are good. Like for the most part, I
Here's-
mean they're all right.
well,
A couple of them, but
late
like
stage careers of most of them, like late stage, like Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, none of them are really putting out great stuff.
yeah,
But the reason I can't hold it too much against him is because if you were paid, it could all of his movies. I can at least for sure. Grown Ups 2. Grown Ups 2 is plotless. It's plotless. It's just meandering nonsense, stupidity. But it's cool. Like they go to like pretty locations. I'm sure like they're going to catered sets and stuff. If he's basically just said like people are saying, hey, we'll give you millions of dollars if you want to chill with your like 4 best friends. Like you
and
want to hang out with Kevin James and Rob Schneider and David Spade for like I don't know 3 weeks out on this location. It's like yeah, of course.
good. And you know what? Good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him.
You
Like
know-
he's making stupid movies with his friends, and
Yeah.
that's fun. That's the way to live.
Speaking of Kevin James, I'm ready for the Kevin James. I'm ready for the Kevin James renaissance with these memes.
Yes.
I need it to happen.
Dude, watch
You gotta watch
Where's
Hitch.
Mall Cop 2, dude? I've been waiting.
Blart and Blarter.
Yeah.
Well, live free, blart hard.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my gosh, you just killed me. You just killed me.
You know, Kevin
man.
James is due for like the A24 drama now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Kevin of all the people I just mentioned, in that crew, Kevin James is kind of in the Adam Sandler crew, I guess, because he's in there a little bit.
He's in both of the Grown Ups movies.
And Chuck and Larry,
He's
Oh, yeah.
also in Hubie
which
Halloween.
is awful.
Isn't he in 50 First Dates as well?
I can't remember. Sean Astin is.
Oh yeah.
50 First Dates isn't bad. That's not bad. But Kevin James, out of those people, I actually do like Kevin James. There's something about him. It's
He's got a wholesome vibe to him.
yeah, he's wholesome.
Mhm.
I will say one more thought on Adam Sandler movie. I will say, Click got me. I'm not
seen it.
Haven't seen it either.
really.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a point, and this is where I knew he was a good actor. There's a point in the movie where I was like, "Oh my gosh, wow, that's powerful stuff, man! Like, good job, Adam." And then there's like stupid stuff in it too, but it's like that might be one of his best movies. I honestly believe Click is one of Adam Sandler's best movies. But anyway,
My
just
last
going.
word on an Adam Sandler movie. You
Yes.
know one that's kind of sweet and wholesome and nice? Bedtime
Wedding Singer.
Stories.
Oh.
I like bedtime stories.
Yeah.
Wedding Singer is good too.
Yeah, I like that movie back in the day, the Bedtime Stories one.
That was my first experience with Russell Brand.
Same.
Oh gosh. Isn't he like canceled now or something?
Oh wait,
like
yeah.
that?
Actually, he's kind of unfortunately involved in some messed up stuff now.
Yeah.
It stinks. He's
Yeah.
why'd you gotta go do that, Russell?
Come on, Russell.
Freaking Russell.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's weird, and now I'm like, this guy's weird.
Yeah, it's like he's already weird, but like
Yeah.
now you just get the confirmation of why.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah. Dumb and Dumber, man. Dumb and Dumber. This was fun. Honestly, I feel like, there will be a lot of episodes of this podcast where we where we interstellar it, where we go and like dive deep and like all this stuff, and it's really fun. But it was fun to just kind of talk about our favorite parts of this and quote it, and like, because like we've said it multiple times. This movie was made to make us laugh. Period. And it stops there, and it did it. And so, like, I just wanted to revisit why it made us laugh, and it was fun to do that. And so, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comedy we do next. That'll be interesting because there's so many things we could choose from.
Oh yeah,
but
a lot of good options too.
Yeah, but yeah, I love it.
Yep. Well, thanks again for listening to the Banter Fodder podcast. And as always, you can find us on all your favorite streaming services for podcasts. And you should also totally follow our Twitter. Check out our Facebook group, which is Banter Fodder, a film and TV discussion group. And we have a lot of fun conversations in there. And James likes to talk about Marty Scorsese and a lot. So we get some fun conversations. Right? What did you say?
I said I made one post. All right.
Yeah, that's a
hey
lot.
Man,
no, I'm just kidding.
you're allowed, man. Killers of the Flower Moon is mere weeks away.
Gosh, dude, it looks so good.
I'm ready for 3.5 hours of my life to be taken away by that movie.
It better be good, Marty. James is like, it will be.
Last two movies were Silence and The Irishman. This movie's gonna freaking go hard, dude.
Okay, going on a little tangent before we end it. I've had The Irishman on Criterion Collection, or the Criterion version of The Irishman. I've had it for like 3 years now, and I still haven't watched it.
You need to do a quick, like 4-movie binge of his gangster stuff, like Mean Streets, Casino.
Goodfellas. I have seen.
Goodfellas is him, right?
Yeah, I've seen Goodfellas and Casino.
I've never seen Goodfellas.
Oh, dude, it's freaking awesome.
Good.
I've never seen any of those.
But The Irishman is this, like, it's not just a swan song to his career, it's a swan song to like this idea. And so like even like the epilogue of the movie is kind of like it's an epilogue to this character. It really does to me hit a lot harder when you're like, this is his final thought on like this kind of character in this world. But it's really good.
Until the sequel, of course. Because he loves sequels.
Oh yeah. The first question he asks is, how can I franchise this?
Taxi Driver 2 win.
Irishmen.
The Irishmen. Or the Irish Woman.
There you go.
Oh, why not? Exactly.
He saw Expendables and he was like, that's a good idea.
Oh man. But yeah, why did we mention Marty? Because we got that cool Facebook group that you should totally join in on the conversation and leave us some comments for a future episode of all of your favorite moments for the next movie that we're going to cover, which we're not going to say yet because it'll be a surprise. Maybe
even to us.
We'll see. But anyways,
we don't know yet.
It'll be a surprise for us. But yeah,
you know what we should do? Wait, you know what we should do? We should have a wheel back here, and we don't talk about what episode we're gonna do. We don't talk about what movie we're gonna cover. I spin the wheel, and then it lands on a movie, and then we just start talking about it. No prep, we just go.
That would be wild.
Gosh, I hope
it's called Wheel of Misfortune.
There you go.
I've done. Yeah. That's it. I'm sorry.
Honestly, like that would be super fun for like one episode.
Just one episode, and then we're like, yeah that sucked.
Dude, you know what would be like really crazy? What if like on April Fools we released an episode of like just like a true crime thing or like something that is not even movie related?
What if we just talked about a movie that's not real? Like, what if we agreed upon certain plot points? Like, we agreed on names.
GPT write a movie and then read the script.
No AI.
No AI. But yeah.
Oh gosh. Anyway,
as always, go support your local theaters. Go freaking see The Irishman, or not The Irishman.
Hey, watch it.
Go see The Irishman. But, go freaking watch Killers of the Flower Moon when it comes out in a few weeks, because that's about to be a banger. We got The Exorcist coming out soon, which hopefully is going to be good. But
No.
I'm holding some. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic about that one because it has a good trailer, but the director is you know. But yeah, and then also Michael just watched The Creator, which is now in theaters, and we're gonna be having like a little out of the theater reaction uploaded real soon on the YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. But yeah, we will see you guys next time.